Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the South Florida Tribune Media Network. And I am live with
Marzena.
Marzena. Welcome to the big show. We just had an incredible tour that went through the mountains. Why don't you give everybody an overview about what all of us had to experience?
Well, it was, I think, a very amazing tour, and also challenging tour for some of the drivers. We had to go to the Eagles Bend first, via 11 hairpin narrow bends to the last bend, which is the viewing platform, with beautiful views of the fjord, of the mountains, and also of the waterfall of Seven Sisters. Then we went up to the mountains to the level of almost 5,000 feet to the top of Dalsniba, and we also stopped at the Flidal Gorge. So the guests could see both the spring and the winter. Yeah, they could see the winter because still up there in the mountains we have a little bit of snow.
Now, we saw those houses at the very bottom that I was trying to take pictures of, but when those houses are all the way at the very bottom, do they get affected heavily by the weather that comes downwards from the mountains at all? Because or are they built that well that they could withstand some sort of weather pressure, whether it's snow, water, whatever?
Well, they can, they can withstand the pressure of the weather, because actually traditionally the people knew here how and where to build the houses so that they stay resistant to all those challenging weather conditions.
Now, when I was up at the top of the mountain, I don't know how often you've been to Arizona, but have you ever heard of Mount Lemmon?
Yes, I have. Well, I have never been to the States, but I know where Arizona is, and I know that this is actually a dry state, and I know that there are mountains.
Well, one of my favorite mountains that I've ever driven myself was when I was doing some work in Tucson. I'm at Mount Lemmon, going to the bottom and working my way all to the top. This reminded me so much of Mount Lemmon, where you start off slow, because obviously when you're going uphill, you're going to go a little bit slower and you're going to see things and you're more curious.
Yes.
And I think that's what I began to notice here. But then on the back end, you're able to go a little bit faster and catch certain things on the backside that you ordinarily wouldn't do. Do you find that that's a noticeable trend when you give this guided tour?
Yes, but you mean that you went up the mountain on foot? Yeah?
Or no, drive.
Drive. Yeah. Actually, we try to show the guests everything we have here. Yeah. So when we are going up the mountains, we usually explain what they see on the way. And then, yes, when we are going down the mountain, it's sometimes faster. It, of course, depends on the amount of traffic we have.
How often have you been doing this tour?
Oh, like 100 times a season. Sometimes 200 times a season. When I first came to work here, I thought that I would die of heart attack.
Really?
But after 6 years, I got used to it.
So you've done it that many times.
Yeah.
And as you continue doing it, do you see something new all the time?
Yes, of course. Actually, I learn every time. Yeah, I learn every time how the people, what kind of challenges they had to face to live here.
But does it get old after a while in terms of how you project it, or is it something you have memorized?
No, I all the time actually talk to local people about their ancestors, how they were living here, what kind of challenges they had to face, but also I would say that I read a lot about the region, and the more I know about it, the bigger respect I have for the people who are living here for ages.
Where are you from originally?
From Poland.
From where?
Poland.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah, from Poland. I live half a year in Poland and half a year in Norway, so now I have two homes.
That's just unbelievable, because every time, if you go on a tour 100, 200 times, it's not the same old thing after a while. You probably have to take something new out of it all the time, wouldn't you say?
Of course. I just couldn't be talking all the same thing, for 6 years. It's impossible because you talk to local people, you read books, you read the old press, you visit museums, you look for old articles and also films, documentaries, and you know more and more. And you get more and more respect for the local people who are living here in very difficult circumstances, under the threat of avalanches, under the threat of hunger, under the threat of big tidal waves of water which were arriving here.
What brought you to this area?
By chance. I came here by chance. My best friend recommended me this job.
Really? Wow, that's unbelievable. And a few more questions. I know you have to get going in a moment, but the reality of the situation is when you deal with all the tourists, how much do you enjoy interacting with the tourists and all the stories of where they are, where they come from?
Well, a lot. A lot. Actually, I have never planned to work as a tour guide. But this job, which came to me by chance via my best friend, actually seems to be the best job which I have made, which I've done throughout all my life.
Well, I want to thank you,
Marzena,
for joining us here on the South Florida Tribune Media Network. My name is Scott Morgenroth. We are in Norway, and what a beautiful scenery as I look at from our Norwegian Prima boat here in the background. Candy will show a picture of our boat right there in the background, and it's really nice to have you on board. So to go out there and see Majadat and myself, go ahead, please subscribe to South Florida Tribune YouTube channel, and we hope that you're able to find our book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Majadat, you've been fantastic in guiding us on this tour, and thank you very much for joining the Motor City Madmouse Show. It's been a pleasure. I'll never forget you, and if you want to follow us on Instagram, feel free to do so, South Florida Tribune. Thank you for your time.
thank you, my pleasure.
Thank you.